It is January 16th, 2025, at about 8 p.m., and it's been 9 days since Cookie was put to sleep. Today was eventful, but first, recap. Early in life, Cookie was diagnosed with a heart murmur. In December, we found him under the Christmas tree. Weight loss, lethargy, yellowing, pale gums, wouldn't eat, wouldn't purr. He just looked horrible, and we brought him to an ER. Basically, every medical level that could have been bad was terrible. They started on 0.4 milliliters of doxycycline twice a day every 12 hours and 5 milligrams of prednisolone twice a day every 12 hours, so we took them together. And for 5 weeks, he improved. January 7th, 2025, he goes for his vet appointment. The only concern they have is his CBC is at 26%. They wanted it at 30%, so they wanted to do some blood tests for vector-borne illnesses. Then he came home. A couple hours later, I woke up, gave him a quick pet and a little kiss, and said, "I love you, I'll be right back." Went out to do some errands. And when I came home, he was breathing heavy and he couldn't close his mouth. So he was rushed to another ER. I'm going to clarify this now because I talked to his vet today. They theorized he was in heart failure and that he had Evans syndrome. And with everything going on, they suggested putting him to sleep. So on January 7th, 2025, I made the hard decision to put my sweet baby boy Cookie to sleep. And today, a lot of things have changed. Not necessarily with the room. Things are still kind of where they are right now. But today was the day I went and I handed in the bills and did all the payments on my credit card for Cookie. I still owe a lot. I still have to do the bill somehow with the vet we took him to where he was put to sleep. I only paid off like 150 of it and there's like 490 left or something like that. That I need to somehow put on a card, but I need to get paid. I need to go back to work first and then get paid and then pay off some of my cards and then put the rest of that on it, and yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, I turned in the stuff for his cremation. I settled on private cremation, so he would come home. I settled on the Trails of Heaven urn with his name on it and a line that just says, "We all love you," because we all do. I settled on the Pause of Remembrance, which is like a display case with a clay paw print and like a little poem about the Rainbow Bridge. 2 clay paw prints that are like in a silver clay, 2 ink paw prints and a nose print, just in case I want to do something with any of them. Like if I want to get molds done of his paw prints, and I would want a backup clay print just in case it damages the print in the molding process. Or if I wanted tattoos, I would like extra prints just in case they get damaged in the conversion of taking the print to make a tattoo stencil out of it. I'm not big on needles, but it's something I've been thinking about for him. It was like $626 or something like that. I guess now really the only thing is just finding a place for everything. It's easier to think and talk about him now that I've spoken to his vet about everything that happened. His primary vet, that is. But today, I mentioned in the previous videos, but Jinxy has also crossed the Rainbow Bridge. Jinxy was an older cat. We adopted her maybe when she was 4 or 5 because she had kittens, and everyone adopted the kittens, but not her. And the vets were like, "Oh, she's really grumpy, she can't be around other cats and everything," and we adopted her anyway, and she just turned out to be a sweet mama cat. We got her first, but as we got more cats, she didn't care. She was very much the alpha. The other cats knew their place with her. She was very sweet. She was mostly my dad's. She was a very good girl. Purred like a truck. But at some point, she developed some kind of cyst on her head. And the vet said it was too close to, like, properly do anything about. It was, like, too close to her skull or something. And it was a big cyst. It covered most of her head, like, between her ears. So it was, like, you know, one ear and then the cyst, and, like, a little bit of space in the other ear. And then over time, I guess it irritated her because she ended up causing it to bleed and scratching it open, which then caused the scab, which she would then scratch open again, so it would bleed and then scab and repeat forever. At some point, she stopped grooming, she started drooling, and she had, like, labored purring, so, like, whenever you purr or pet her and she would purr, she still loved attention, but she just, you know, had, like, a really kind of heavy purr, like, she was kind of struggling a bit, or she was really congested. You know, the lack of grooming then turned into her front paws being matted with blood because she kept rubbing her head. And we tried everything. We tried collars, we tried, like, stopping her, we tried, obviously the vet said there wasn't much they could do. We tried using, like, different kinds of, like, soothing spray so it wouldn't itch or sting or anything, and she would still just rub it anyway, because you would pet her, and then she would rub her head on a surface, and then she would rip it open, and it was just over and over and over again. But today she crossed the Rainbow Bridge. She might have been 12, maybe a little older. But she went very peacefully. No pain, no struggling. She had us with her at the vet. Just like Cookie, I sat in front of her so she could see me, and I just said, I said, "We love you," over and over and over again until the vet said her heart stopped. My parents didn't seem too interested in bringing her back home, so she's going for a communal cremation. We also just generally don't have that much money. Private cremation's $246. So, but we did get something from them. They gave us these as a complimentary. Being very careful with it because obviously we only have the few. They're paw prints. It looks like a little heart. And there's ink ones too. Trying to be very careful because these are like soft clay. Oh, I think I will sit down. I do. You might be wondering what all that like bit around the edges are. It's she had very fuzzy toes, so I guess when they did the ink, it just got on the fur and stained the area around it. But it was early this morning, maybe around 10 o'clock. She got the shot. They obviously use a sedative to relax her, and then gave her the big shot, and she just went to sleep. And of course, you know, it was a lot, because that's 2 cats in 2 weeks, and there's just been no real break. My dad was devastated. I mean, you know how dads are. They don't want any of the pets, and then they seem to grow the closest. Jinxy was definitely his baby. Oh, she was his lap cat, through and through. So I think it hurt him the most to see her go. But it was one of those things where the vet looked at her and the vet said, yeah, just the head alone, like the head wound would be condition enough to put her to sleep, but everything else too, her developing reclusiveness, her sneezing up blood, her congestion, her lack of grooming and everything, that was definitely a sign that things weren't okay, and that putting her to sleep was the good choice. And After that, I spoke to the vet about Cookie and what happened. I just asked her a few questions about what could have been done and what happened and what she thought, because she wasn't there, because she's not an emergency vet. She said that she would still like to test for vector-borne illnesses, that there's still a piece of the puzzle with Cookie that's missing. The ER vet theorized it could have been Evans syndrome and heart failure. Cookie's vet doesn't think it's Evans syndrome. She thinks it's something else, or could have been something else. But my main question for her was, did I make the right choice with Cookie? And she said, yeah. She said I made the right choice. That one of two things had likely happened with Cookie. One was heart failure. The other was a blood clot that got into his lungs. It was one of those two things. She said that if it was the blood clot, that I could have walked into any hospital on earth with $1 million and there's nothing that could have been done. And she said with heart failure or heart disease, if that's what it was, then if he had survived, the optimistic outlook is a year of life. I think she said expectancy was more like a couple months. And then he would have to be on constant medications. He would have to be on several meds. He would have to go for continuous checkups and follow-ups and heavy monitoring. And she said that the cats that she had as patients that had heart disease didn't seem as happy. And she said that putting him to sleep was the best choice. And you know, I said I thought it was fine, that it wasn't as sad, that now that I know that was the right choice, but I just wish I didn't have to make it. Because although I know it was the right choice now, definitively, that there's nothing that could have been done. Even at the ER, if I had taken on even $4,000 in debt to try to treat him, that he would have suffered so much longer, and that he really wouldn't have gotten any better life. He would have just come home and been miserable for a couple of months as I shoved countless medicines into him and dragged him to a vet every other day, and that's not the life I want for him. And you know, there's always the possibility that even during that treatment I could go to work and come back and he'd be gone. So at least by putting him down at the hospital, I got to say goodbye and hold my little boy. Well, I didn't hold him. I wish I did. I wish I just picked him up. I held him in my arms, but I wasn't really thinking that day. So yeah, that's where that is. I guess looking at it now and everything, there really is nothing that I could have done that would have changed anything. He got dealt a really shitty hand, and there was just nothing I could do. I could throw all the money in the world at it, and I guess he just would have gone anyway. It was just a matter of would I have been there or not. And how good would he have felt? Because if I prolonged him, I brought him home and tried to treat it, then what? He suffers at home for a couple of months on like 18 different medications. They maybe even has to get fluid drained from him. I mean, what kind of pet dad would I be if I did that to him? I just miss him. I miss him a lot. Because, you know, he was my baby boy. He was just so sweet. He didn't deserve this. I just wish he didn't have to go through that. But the vet said that there's still a piece of the puzzle missing, which is what happened? What caused his body to attack itself? What did he have? And so that's what the vector-borne test is for. We have to get the flea situation here cleaned up and under control, and then we gotta start testing cats to see if maybe whatever he had could have been contagious and brought by fleas. Because if that's the case, then we have a really bad problem on our hands. I guess this is a general thing. Here's Lucy. This is one of her favorite spots. I think she's just been really stressed. Yeah. I mean, just look at that. I pet her and she whips her head around. But the main cue for me is, that. Look. Hey, baby. Can I see your paw? See how it's like a little thinner there? I'm not sure. Maybe she got scratched by one of the other cats because she fights them a lot, or maybe she's over licking from stress because she doesn't like to be around the other cats, and Posey has been in here a lot. But I plan to look into some anti-anxiety meds and stuff for her, so I want to make her relax and stress-free, because there can be times where I'm just petting her and she suddenly whips around and hisses at me, and yeah, I'm just worried about her and her mental. But she's a very good girl otherwise. I love her very dearly, even though she drives me nuts sometimes. But yeah, I guess that's the update for today. I know my phone's low on storage, so I'll wrap it up with my message for Cookie. Hey, Cookie, my baby boy. Hugs and kisses. I love you very much. I hope the afterlife is treating you well. And I hope you were able to find Jinxy. It's nice to know that you have a friend on that side of the bridge now, and that you're not alone. One day I'll join you guys there, but it'll probably be a while. Hopefully it'll be a while. After all, I gotta live out this life to the fullest for you, so you can see the world and everything through me. Even though I want to see you, I don't want to leave the world. Not until it's my time. And I have a feeling that it's not going to be my time for a while, so just make sure there's a comfy spot for me so I can pet you all so much better when I do get there in, 80 years or so? I was like, I hit by like a meteor or something. You're always going to have a place in my heart, Cookie. My heart, my home, my world, my soul, my life. I'm always going to be a special place for my special baby boy. I love you 3000. I love you to the moon and back. I love you with all those cheesy lines and sayings. I love you in a way that can never be properly defined or explained. Take good care of Jinxy for me, okay? I know she's Mama Cat, but she just got there and you've been there for a week, so you might know things a little better than she does. I hope you have everything you guys want on that side of the bridge. Places to sleep, toys to play with, food and snacks to eat, blankets to need, and of course, plenty of snuggles and cuddles and hugs and kisses. Because you know I would be giving them to you right now if I could. I love you both very much, Cookie and Jinxy. We all miss you very much. I miss you, Mini Moo. I love you with all of my heart and everything that I ever am, or everything that I am and ever will be, Cookie. I miss you, Mini Moo. I love you, Cookie.